up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours, where there is a lot of topics to discuss. We are now a few days away from the squad traveling to America for the tour, and a lot of decisions, a lot of exits and signings are being made. But firstly, a signing is official. Inigo Martinez, he did have his presentation a few days ago. We'll go through that and also the new rules of the presentation process as well. We have updates on Oriol Romeu's transfer to Barcelona. It is on the verge of completion. A deal is almost struck. Personal terms agreed. We're going to talk about the right back department as well. A lot of changes have been made as well. Was Des given a chance? Who are going to be the options coming in? New name, Pablo Maffeo, we're going to talk about. Fresneda's future. Cancelo loan option looking pretty good as well. Also to talk about Barcelona in the market, of course, for a creative midfielder. Xavi wants to bring in another midfielder alongside a pivot. Romeu most likely, and Gundogan. Thiago's name has come up over the past 48 hours. Thiago Alcantara, former Barcelona player. Bernardo's name is there as well. We'll talk about Celso as well. But of course, for players to come in, players have to leave as well. We have big updates from Kessie and Lenglet's exit. The club do plan on making official exits around 2 or 3 before the US tour on Wednesday. We have future updates on Nico Gonzalez, Pablo Torre, Julian Araujo, Abde, Frenkie de Jong. UEFA fined us. We'll talk about that and the appeal. And also Xavi's formation and tactics for next season have been leaked as well, so we'll discuss that. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with some official news from the club, and that is that Inigo Martinez has been presented as a new Barcelona player over the past 48 hours. Now, he did his typical presentation stuff, you know, hold up the shirt, juggled, play with the kids. Then, of course, he went in for his press conference. Now, usually on the channel, I do cover the press conference in full depth. Everything that everyone says is usually because Laporta and Lamine are asked a lot of questions about the market, what's going to be happening next, and some information about the club that everyone should know. But starting in this transfer window, the club had decided that only Inigo Martinez will answer questions from the media in the press conference and not others. This was decided because in the past, when Laporta, Lamine, and others were there, most questions went to them, which again, I think is the correct decision because you don't want to hinder any negotiations. But now the press conferences, it was just typical stuff. Inigo Martinez said, yeah, I'm happy, I'm here to fight, blah, blah, blah. Lamine said a word saying that he was our first choice to replace Piqué, and we got our first choice. That was it, really. I mean, nothing jaw-dropping, nothing to, you know, waste your time with. So I guess the presentation reveals on the channel this season, or this summer, should I say, won't be that long. Back in the day, I'd cover like 10-15 minutes of just pure quotes and analyze them, but now that's no longer the case. So again, Inigo Martinez presented as a new Barcelona player officially, did all the, you know, typical new player stuff, and he's ready to start. Of course, first off is the preseason in America. Let's now get into the transfer news over the past 48 hours. And firstly, it looks like that Barcelona's next signing will be Oriol Romeu, as Barcelona enter the final stages of the operation. Now, firstly, Jordan Miros come out saying that everything points towards the direction of Oriol Romeu becoming a culé. Ideally, Barcelona would like to complete the signing before Wednesday so that he is available for the US tour. Cat Reader then came out saying that Barcelona and Girona are seriously negotiating for Oriol Romeu today for the first time. Barcelona will pay around $6 million and also offer a loan for Pablo Torre or Nico Gonzalez that can be included, and some variables. And the feeling is that it may close imminently. So again, Barcelona now officially negotiating with Girona. It looks like a deal can be struck. Luis Rojo from Marca came out saying the agreement between Barcelona and Girona for Oriol Romeu is in sight. Fixed fee of 5 to 6 million euros with variables. The agreement with the player is already there. Xavi wants Romeu before the tour to the USA, which starts, of course, on Wednesday. And finally, Raccoon came out saying that Barcelona and Girona are negotiating for Oriol Romeu for the first time. Talks have accelerated in recent hours. Girona wants money and Pablo Torre and Nico on loan. The former sees it with good eyes, but the latter is complicated. So again, looks like Pablo Torre is set to join Girona on loan. We'll talk about that later on. They also want Nico as well, but Nico is a bit reluctant. We'll talk about that later on as well. But it will be a bit less than his release clause because it will include us setting them a few players on loan. Now, whether or not we are covering the wages of these players or not remains to be seen. Maybe usually when Barcelona send out players on loan, especially to La Liga, they just say, hey, cover the wages, take them for a season. But while with us sending them these players, we might see Barcelona cover the wages again. Pablo Torre, Nico Gonzalez's wages are very small. And then we got the big confirmation from some reports in the Girona media from Cancelo, and they came out saying that Oriol Romeu will be a Barcelona player in the next few hours. Operation valued around 5 million euros plus variables and the loan of Pablo Torre. Girona also wants Nico Gonzalez too, but he's going to go on tour to America. So again, according to the Girona media, the deal is essentially done. A bit less than the release clause, players included on loan, some variables as well. It looks like Barcelona have finally signed their pivot. I expect this deal to be done in the next 24 to 48 hours. Here we go, will be coming in, I believe, and once we get that, I will be making a separate video. But it looks like Barcelona's fourth signing of the summer is very close for a very good deal for Barcelona as well. Now, along with the already signed İlkay Gündoğan and the signing of a pivot, most likely, of course, 99% Oriol Romeu, Xavi still has his sights on signing another midfielder with the profile of being a more creative midfielder. Now, there have been some names on the table. We talked about Giovani and Celso over the past few days, but two new names have emerged around Barcelona. Firstly, Thiago Alcantara. There are reports coming in from England saying that sources inside Liverpool feel that Thiago Alcantara leaving to Barcelona this summer has a concrete possibility. It's the main option for the Spanish international, who would be more than keen to go back and play for Barcelona and play under Xavi. Very interesting. I think, to be honest, the boat for Thiago has sailed. I think we should have got him back in, 2020? I think it was the year before COVID when his contract was expiring with Bayern Munich. In the end, I think he went to Liverpool. I think they sold him for around 30. Maybe that was the year after COVID, 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. I think that was the best time to bring back Thiago, but of course, we were broke, shout out Bartomeu. But then Juan Marte came out saying the option of Thiago is discarded. Another midfielder who would have cost around 10 to 12 million has also been ruled out due to doubts about his physical condition. I think in the end, this is the correct decision from Barcelona. If he's fully fit, I'd take him every single way. Quality player, very dynamic, knows the system, knows the style, played under our peak years in Barcelona as well. But the man is too injury prone. And for 10 to 12 million, I think that's a good price for him if, of course, he's fully fit. But with the fitness and stuff like that, I would personally pass on it as well. But the option was there, and Barcelona had rejected it. The other option on the table, I didn't see this one coming. It is Bernardo Silva. It is coming in from Fernando Polo and Franck Martinez from Deportivo, two reliable sources. They've come out saying that Barcelona will try to sign Bernardo Silva this summer. Bernardo Silva dreams of joining Barcelona. He's crazy to sign for the club. He has the option to join Saudi Arabia or PSG, but he has put a stop to it as Barcelona will make an offer of a loan with a mandatory purchase option next summer. Barcelona believe that La Liga will make the registration process more flexible, allowing the club to sign Bernardo Silva. Now, when I first saw this, I'm thinking, there is no way we are struggling to register Victor Roque and we're going to sign Bernardo Silva. For me, it made no sense. I think the club can get a loan deal agreed with the city, but to register him with his wages, I think he's on 200,000 euros a week at Man City. He rejected 300,000 last summer. I think he would take a pay cut at Barcelona, maybe go to 150, somewhere around there, but I think that's difficult. But then Raccoon came out saying that Victor Roque may not arrive this summer because there may be a surprise signing and it could be a player of a certain amount of money that arrives at Barcelona this summer. So maybe Barcelona are opting out on purpose not to register Victor Roque this summer to make room for other big and surprising signings. And that's all. Just because of that quote, that's the only reason why I'm talking about Bernardo Silva. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Look, if you could tell me to pick any creative midfielder out there that's realistic, I would pick Bernardo Silva. But the issue is that registration. It's gonna be damn near impossible unless we get some miraculous sales. If we sell Ferran, Ansu, and Kessie, I'd believe, but with us probably selling only one of them, I see the signing of Bernardo Silva very complicated. Loan deal, I think we can get it over the line, no problem. Mandatory purchase option, how much would that be? Of course, Man City want around 70 million euros for him this summer. Will it be 70 million euro purchase option next summer? Will that be paid in installments? A lot of if, buts, and maybes about this report, but we'll wait and see. No doubt about it though, Barcelona 100% in the market for a creative midfielder. Xavi sees that an absolutely vital piece for him to go and push for the big trophies next season. Now, as Laporta said a few days ago, the priority for Barcelona this summer now is to sign 2 midfielders, of course the pivot and a creative midfielder, and also to reinforce the right back position. There has been a lot of reports about the right position over the past 48 hours. I'm going to go through all the reports and give you guys the in-depth analysis and also explanation. Now we're going to go through the links. Firstly, we have been linked again with Joao Cancelo. Raccoon have come out saying that Joao Cancelo is an option on loan. Man City see this possibility with good eyes. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo also came out saying the idea of a loan for Joao Cancelo is once again present, as even Fresneda does not generate total consensus at the club. Fabrizio Romano also came out saying that Barcelona are still the favorites to sign Joao Cancelo. They're the club that's the most interested in the player at the moment. But we have been linked with a new name at right back over the past 48 hours, and that's been Pablo Maffeo of Real Mallorca. Esport 3 came out saying that Barcelona's priority is Cancelo, but from the club they see Pablo Maffeo as an alternative. He has a release clause of 30 million euros, but would be open to the door for him to leave him for around 10 million euros plus a player on loan. So it's not going to be Pablo Torre, maybe a Julian Araujo, Nico Gonzalez, something like that. Sevilla is also interested and are already negotiating with Mallorca to sign him. Now I don't know how Sevilla are negotiating when they have to get rid of 90 million euros of players. Maybe they have sales already on the books ready to go. Nonetheless, I mean, it's a wing back, so I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'd much rather invest in Ivan Fresneda, who is the same price, but I think it's just he's Spanish and he's available. That's why he's being linked with Barcelona. But then you have the look in house as well. We do have the option of Serginho Dest, which to be honest has been taking a big U-turn over the past 24 hours. Roger and Franck Martinez from Deportivo have come out saying that Serginho Dest's future is still open. He's on the transfer list, but there are no offers. He offers the profile of right back wanted, and Barcelona see him more confident. For now, he is expected to go to US and get a chance. Following this report, Javi Miguel from AES, who of course, according to reports, is very, very close to Xavi, he then came out saying the continuation of Serginho Dest is completely ruled out by the coaching staff, both sportingly and economic reasons. Plan A is still Cancelo on loan, but Maffeo is also liked, so he's an option, you could say. With Fresneda, there is no total consensus. Of course, we confirmed that already from Gabriel Sanz, and fourth is ruled out due to his high asking price. Okay, so Javi Miguel is saying Dest has no chance. Cancelo's option number 1, and Maffeo is another option on the list. Even Fresneda might be there as well, and Jerry Frimpong maybe is on that list. Now, he said that after the initial report here from Deportivo about Dest getting a chance on the US tour. Then Catalonia Radio came out saying that Serginho Dest will be traveling with the team to the United States. Xavi has made the decision. The player has become more mature and wants to find his place at Barcelona. Xavi does not rule out his possibility of staying. So according to reports, Dest will be getting a chance. Now, does not mean he will stay 100%, does not mean he will leave 100%, but on the American tour, it's going to be big for him. He will be given a chance. If he plays well, he could end up being trusted maybe as an alternative option. But if he doesn't play well, then the club will probably push him out, say, hey, look, we gave you the chance. Can you leave? We then got some quotes from Dest. He did speak to Mundo Deportivo. He came out saying that Xavi has told me that I'm starting from scratch, and I agreed that I have to show my qualities. Staying at Barcelona depends on me. I'm totally focused on working very, very hard every day, and my idea is to continue and enjoy a beautiful season at Barcelona. So Dest is saying, look, Xavi's gonna give me a chance. I know it depends on me. I have to go out there and play well. If I do, great. If not, then I'll have to move elsewhere, essentially. So, very, very interesting. I still wholeheartedly believe we're gonna sign a right back. Of course, we'll talk about Julian Araujo later on. He's gonna probably go on loan. I think our 2 right backs for preseason will be Araujo and Dest. But then again, we're seeing clips of Jules Koundé on Instagram and stuff training for preseason. He's training at right back. We're seeing him bomb down the wing and putting in crosses. Again, we'll talk about Koundé at the end of the video where he could be playing his position next season. So a lot of if buts and maybes at right back. I think what is clear is that Dest will be given a chance. Julian Araujo will most likely go out alone. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you have, I think, a signing coming in. I still think the club will sign someone at right back. I'd be shocked if we didn't. But we'll wait and see. So that's the update at right back. The club definitely in the market for one, but we'll look to give Serginho Dest a chance during preseason. Now, following the signing of Victor Oroque, where of course Barcelona have capitalized on the Brazilian market, the club do have their eyes on their next Brazilian talent for the future, and it is Xavi William, also nicknamed as Messinho. This is coming in from Russian Tornado from Deportivo. He's come out saying that Deco has his eyes set on Xavi William Messinho, who's currently 16, for a long time, and he's won his bets as he has his mind for the future. Andre Curry is Messinho's agent and will help prioritize Barcelona over other clubs. Moreover, Messinho's dream is to play for Barcelona and follow the footsteps of his idol Leo Messi, as he himself revealed in an interview a while ago, but PSG were unsuccessful in signing him even after making a €50 million offer to Palmeiras. Now, I did remember seeing this, I think last September or last December. He did renew his contract with Palmeiras until 2027, 2028, somewhere around there, and PSG did make an offer for around €50 million, which was rejected. Now, in the future, I think he'll probably have 1 year left in his deal by the time Barcelona end up coming in, but this could be a talent for the future. Again, nicknamed Messinho, so you never know with these Brazilian players. Of course, in Brazil, they may look like the best player in the world, but when they come to Europe, it's different gravy. So we'll wait and see. Keep your eyes on it, but for now, we're very happy with Victor Roque. And I think it also will depend on the future as well as for... And I think also will depend on the future of Lamine Yamal. If Lamine Yamal is what Barcelona expect, I don't think the club will go for Messinho. I think they will bet locally. Then if maybe Lamine Yamal doesn't come out to be the way he is, or Ansu Fati leaves, then maybe we can have the idea of bringing in Messinho. So we'll wait and Xavi William. So we'll wait and see what happens. Again, a very, very prospering young talent in Brazil. Probably the next big thing after Victor Roque and Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Neymar. So keep your eyes on it. And Barcelona are definitely going to be in the race. Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First up, we do have a report on what the club plan on doing in the next few days regarding exits. Now, Juan Martí has come out saying that in the coming days, Barcelona hopes to resolve the situation of at least 2 to 3 players who are already in training. The idea is that they can avoid the tour for the USA, and today contacts are planned that may leave some operations almost done. Joan Gamper then confirmed this as well, saying that Barcelona are working on 3 departures: the loan of Pablo Torre, the transfer of Lenglet, and a third name, which of course he did not tell us. So Pablo Torre we'll talk about in a few seconds. Let's now discuss quickly on Clement. Lenglet. Sport have come out saying that Barcelona and Tottenham Hotspur continue to negotiate for Lenglet, but so far both clubs are not giving in. Barcelona continue to ask for around €15 million, while the English outfit are only planning on giving around €5 million, arguing that they're taking over the players' high wages, which, to be honest, they're not wrong. At this point, I'm taking the $5 million run. Yes, are we underselling Lenglet? Absolutely, but just get rid of the player. He's supposed to come back to training in what, 3 days? Please sell him. Also, Russian Tornado from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona are still in negotiation with Tottenham for Lenglet. If an agreement is not reached by Monday, the player will then return to training. Yo, if Lenglet is on the dang plane to America, I'm gonna cry. Please. I thought with the agreement with Tottenham for the Joan Gamper, there was something behind that. Also, by the way, Lazio, apparently the club were very close to getting Lazio, but then they pulled out because they have ultras and they didn't want the ultras coming in, disrupt the atmosphere at the Montjuic for the first game, so they went with Tottenham. Hopefully with that, there's something there, an agreement. I'm begging for it because we've got to get rid of Lenglet. Now, another player that could end up leaving is, of course, Franck Kessie, who is attracting a lot of interest from Italy. The March has come out saying that Juventus have asked for information on Franck Kessie, but for the moment he's just a preliminary survey. The Italian club could make a concrete move only if an important exit is happening in the midfield. They have put apparently Paul Pogba on the market for around €10 million, which, to be honest, quite a deal. But Matteo Marito's come out saying that Barcelona is asking for around €25 million for Franck Kessie. Juventus admire him and are asking about the situation, but they must sell players before going for him. But Kessie does not want to return to Italy as of today. He'd like another challenge, Bundesliga or Premier League, maybe Saudi Arabia. Apparently, the new Juventus sporting director is a huge fan of Franck Kessie, and that's what's spurring up Juventus' interest. So we'll wait and see on that. I think, again, Kessie is going to be the only player that can bring us some sort of a solid transfer fee in terms of exits this summer. We'll see Lenglet go for a couple million, Pablo Torre loan, Julian Araujo loan, Des maybe exit if he doesn't do well. Collado's already terminated his contract, so he'll be the only one that brings actually some concrete money in. So we'll wait and see what happens with the 2 sales. Again, hopefully we get these over the line, more so for Lenglet. I don't mind if we end up keeping Kessie, but the club need to get some exits very soon, as that squad list for the American tour is going to be coming out in a few days, and they need to sort out some futures before then. Now, one player's future that does remain uncertain at the moment is the future of Nico Gonzalez. Now, we do have reports first coming in from Nico's father, who is speaking to the media, and he has acknowledged from the Portuguese interest from Porto, which we talked about on the channel a few days ago, and his son, in an interview on the Portuguese network, he also added that there are other options from Spain, Portugal, and England, that in the next few days, he will make his decision. Now, as we all know, Girona are interested in the loan of Nico Gonzalez as part of the Romeu deal. Whether it's part of it or not, they're still very interested. According to reports as well, the coach did have a talk with Nico. Matteo Morito came out saying that the Girona coach Mikel has spoken with Nico Gonzalez, who has not given a clear response yet. He will be guaranteed minutes, but the other proposals seem to tempt him even more. Everything indicates that he will be going out on loan again. Confirming that, we did get the report from Cancelo from the Girona-based media. They came out saying that Nico Gonzalez is certainly going to the US tour with Barcelona, but Girona will continue to fight to sign him. He is the ideal replacement for the coach Mikel to replace Oriol Romeu. Look, I'm hoping, I think we've got to confirm that Nico will be on the plane to America. If he's not, I'll be very worried. I want him to be on the plane, and I want him to be given a chance. If Des is getting a chance, Nico deserves a chance. Whether it's in the pivot or as an interior, I want to see him play in preseason. I think if you can have Oriol Romeu and Nico, two options in the pivot, you have Oriol Romeu there for the experience, Nico can learn from him, and I also think that Romeu, with his old age of, I'm acting like he's a grandpa, like, you know, coming into the end of his career, 31, 32 years old, I think Nico can get a lot of minutes in the team if you just if you make that clear, like no Gundogan the pivot, no Frenkie de Jong, it'll just be Oriol Romeu or Nico. They alternate, one injured, vice versa, because if we loan out Nico, I would say to Barcelona, you gotta sign another pivot, you gotta bring in two, because you can't go from having 1 to 1, because only with one with Busquets we were struggling. So, and then I'll probably predict then if we only stick with Romeu that we'll see a lot of Ilkay Gundogan in the pivot when, you know, Romeu isn't playing. But I still want to see Nico get a chance. I think if you give him that chance in preseason in the pivot, he can impress, and I would love to see him there battling out with Romeu for a season, also learning from him, providing that healthy competition and coverage. But looks like right now he is leaning towards another loan move. We'll wait and see. Again, Girona really want the player, but he does have offers from also other Spanish clubs, Portuguese clubs, and England as well. Now, a player who Barcelona do expect to sell this summer is the transfer of Mika Marmol. Of course, the plan for Barcelona is to activate his €1 million buy option and then sell him on to other clubs. Again, the club wants to sell to Las Palmas to reduce some of the fees that we owe for Pedri. But Gabriel Sanz, Mundo Deportivo, has come out saying that Barcelona and Las Palmas are not advancing in the operation for Mika Marmol. Barcelona have a buyback option for €1 million on him, and after he was loaned to Andorra, the newly promoted La Liga side want him, but they're not willing to meet Barcelona's economic demands. Negotiations have therefore stalled. So the club are talking with Las Palmas over Julian Araujo, but not over Mika Marmol, which, you know, doesn't make sense. Nonetheless, we'll wait and see. I think the club do want to use Mika Marmol to their advantage and trying to earn some money. Again, maybe buy for $1 million, sell him for 3, 3.5, 4, 2.5, whatever the case may be, because whatever you earn is always a positive for Barcelona in any aspect, because again, we are broke. So we'll wait and see. Again, maybe we end up not buying him, we take that risk. I think in the end, the club will use their buy option and then sell him on, whether it's Las Palmas to help reduce the Pedri fee, or maybe to a Granada or a Mallorca or any other team, because he was one of the best center backs in the second division last season with Andorra, and a lot of the, you know, middle to lower teams in La Liga are very interested in him. So wait and see. But again, the future of Mika Marmol is still undecided. Now, there are a few players at Barcelona who are very close to finalizing their loan moves away from Barcelona to, of course, gain minutes and experience, and one of those players is Pablo Torre, who will be joining Girona most likely as part of the Oriol Romeu operation. Franck Martinez from Mundo Deportivo has come out saying that Pablo Torre will not be on the plane to the US for the tour due to his imminent departure. His loan move is expected to close next week, and everything indicates that he will be going to Girona, although his entourage maintains that they have other options as well. I think he will be going to Girona. I think look, great move for him. You know, same city, same style of play, basically same kits as well, and it will also help Barcelona get a target that they want to get, for, of course, Oriol Romeu for the pivot. I think it's a great move all around. You reduce the price for Oriol Romeu as well with doing this from 8 million to around 5 or 6. I think it's a great deal for all parties. Barcelona get the player they want. They also get to send their player with experience. Girona get the money, and they also get a player that can be very, very useful for the squad. I do hope that Pablo Torre goes out there and plays a lot of minutes week in, week out. And I do hope there is that clause he does not play against Barcelona, or if he does play against Barcelona, there is a fine. I think that's a fantastic thing that Maffeo has implemented from last season. So we'll wait and see on that. But Pablo Torre is set for a loan move this summer, with Girona being the favorites. Now, another player who is also on the verge of joining a club on loan is Julian Araujo. Now, when this came out, I was very, very shocked, but there have been some details that we do have to discuss about. Now, this did break from Mika Marmol from Marlevo. He came out saying that Barcelona and Las Palmas are negotiating a loan for Julian Araujo to the newly promoted La Liga club, and Las Palmas are currently in the best position to sign the Mexican right back. The agreement between the two clubs will be closed in the next few days. Now, of course, it does mean that Julian Araujo will not be on the plane to America, and this was confirmed by Inigo Martinez Mundo Deportivo. He came out saying that Julian Araujo will join Las Palmas on loan for next season. He is taken for granted. He is expected to join their disciplinary directly after the Gold Cup final. I'm seeing this, and then I'm hearing the Dest reports thinking the club are really just going to send Araujo on loan now. Just get him out there, see if Dest takes his chance. If he does, great, have him as a backup option for whoever we sign. If not, you sign someone and have him battle out with Jules Koundé. I think that's what the club's plan right now is essentially. But there has been some contrast reports to this. Of course, Matteo Marito, Inigo Martinez, very, very reliable. But Juan Martí, who's also very reliable, came out saying that Julian Araujo will do preseason with Barcelona with the goal of earning a place in the squad. Today, he isn't listed to any too many offers. He has 2 from Spain, 1 from Holland. We do know the 1 from Holland is from PSV, if I'm not mistaken, because he's focused on trying to convince Xavi. So he's saying that Julian Araujo will be on the plane to America and will do preseason with Barcelona because he wants to convince Xavi. And to be honest, I think that is the correct decision. I think he should go out on tour. If he does great, then we can analyze how Dest plays, if we're going to sign a right back, and you can have him as an option. If he doesn't, have that loan deal set. So hopefully, I think the club right now talking with Las Palmas to have that loan deal set, and then they can push the green light when he comes back. Of course, Garcia Pimienta knows the Barcelona system, coach Barcelona Athletic, so this is a right back that can definitely grow under him. And if you know Garcia Pimienta in the end says that he's not good enough, that can be a great indication for Barcelona as well. So wait and see what happens. But again, Julian Araujo looks like very, very lucky going out on loan, but he can change the mind of Xavi and, of course, the club as well if he does very well on preseason. Now, a player's future that is very much in doubt, but Xavi is in favor of keeping him. He's actually one of the few players who came back from loan that has a chance of staying with the first team, and that is, of course, Abde. Now, Roger Tadero from Mundo Deportivo has come out saying that Abde won the Under-23 AFCON last Sunday, and he still has 2 more weeks of vacation left, but he has decided to give up his holiday and join Barcelona preseason on Monday. He wants to show that he can have a place in Barcelona's squad. Abde is Xavi's favorite. The coach has him in his plans and will give him a chance on the US tour. However, Abde's problem is that the 2 forwards discarded by Xavi, Franck, Torres, and Ansu Fati, don't want to leave. That, added with the fact that many clubs are interested in him and he costs Barcelona only 2 million euros, is currently working against Abde. So Xavi wants to keep him. There's no really place for him right now in the squad, and we do have big offers for him, and it does help us economically. I think we all know where this is going. I think he'll get a chance in preseason. If he really impresses, the club might just cancel all his offers and keep him no matter what. Maybe probably push out Ferran Torres on a loan move, whatever the case may be. If he doesn't really impress and the offers are still there for 20-30 million euros, I think the club will end up taking it. So Abde's future, we'll have to wait and see. He wants to stay. Clearly, he's cutting his vacation 2 weeks short. Of course, he had a whole season with Osasuna, one of the best loan deals in the history of Barcelona. Played so well. Then won the Under-23 AFCON with Morocco. Was given 2 weeks off. He's come back early, like what, 2 weeks early, to prove that he can play for Barcelona. So love the fight, love the hunger. Wait and see how things develop there. But I think Abde does have a chance of staying. Again, we only have 5 forwards. You need 6. Victor Roque will not be joining until at least January. I hope he joins this summer, but I see it as very difficult. I think he can end up staying. We'll have to wait and see what the club and also Xavi decides. But firstly, it comes down to Abde impressing during preseason. But one player who will undeniably 100% be staying at Barcelona is, of course, Frenkie de Jong, with Gabriel Sanz from Mundo Deportivo coming out saying that Manchester United coach Erik ten Hag has an impossible obsession with Frenkie de Jong. He tried again to convince de Jong recently, but without success. Barcelona don't want to sell him either because he's fundamental for Xavi. He also says in his report that if even an offer comes in for around 500 million or 200 million, the club would still reject it because Frenkie de Jong is fundamental for the squad and for Xavi. I don't think that part is true, but I do think the club don't want to sell Frenkie de Jong this summer. And again, Erik ten Hag was sniffing his nose around to see if he can try and convince Frenkie de Jong again, but he shut down the offer, and so did Barcelona. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. Firstly, on the contract renewal of Lamine Yamal. Fabrizio Romano's come out saying that Barcelona have reached a full agreement with Lamine Yamal and his agent Jorge Mendes to extend his contract. It will be a 3-year deal plus a 2-year option. Again, it was his birthday the other day. Contract renewal isn't official, but it is pretty much fully agreed. He will sign it at some point. No worries there whatsoever. Now, of course, Lamine Yamal has been in first team training recently, and apparently the reports are very impressive. Relivo came out saying that those who witnessed yesterday's evening training session have been hallucinated by Lamine Yamal. His teammates, some of those who work twice his age, were unable to stop him. They said that he has been crazy in the training sessions. Again, training sessions FC, I mean, I want to see it myself. Whatever they do, I've seen videos of Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, Rafinha scoring free kicks. Still haven't seen a free kick since 2021, Valencia away, Messi against Celso. Still have not seen a free kick goal since then. It's been 2 seasons, so until I see it, that's when I'll judge it. But again, Lamine Yamal, huge prospect for Barcelona, and they have ended up agreeing a renewal for his contract. The next contract renewal update is on the contract renewal of Alejandro. Balde, very similar scenario to Lamine Yamal. Fernando Porto from Deportivo has come out saying that Barcelona and Alejandro Balde's agent Jorge Mendes have already reached an agreement to renew his contract. It will be either until 2027 or 2028. The club will announce it as soon as they can find some fair play margin to register him. So again, Alejandro Balde, full agreement has been reached. But according to Relivo, Barcelona want to close officially the renewals of both Alejandro Balde and Lamine Yamal before going on the US tour. So by Wednesday, the club want to make official of Lamine Yamal and Alejandro Balde's renewal. Again, they probably, Lamine Yamal should be able to be registered. Balde, bit of doubt there, but the club still want to announce it before they go out on the American tour. So we'll wait and see if that happens or not. But again, very confident and already all fully agreed, both with Jorge Mendes' agents, Lamine Yamal and Alejandro Balde will both renew their contracts with Barcelona, committing their long-term future to the club. And the final contract renewal update is on the contract renewal of Oriol Martinez. Although he is a free agent, the club still want to try and renew his contract. Matteo Marito has come out saying that Barcelona is trying to convince Oriol Martinez to stay, but it is complicated. He doesn't want to be the third-choice goalkeeper. Lots of teams have inquired about him. Again, the club want to renew him. They see a lot of talent, a lot of prospect in his future. Ter Stegen has only got, we could say, 3 or 4 years, 5 years tops at the top. And the club want to renew him and send him out immediately on loan. And I think that is the correct decision. A way to see the club can agree on a contract for him. Again, last contract they didn't want to give it to him because it was too much wages. It will be on lesser wages. He will be accepting a salary reduction if he does end up renewing with Barcelona. Looks like the renewal at the moment is at a complicated stage, but with the love of Barcelona that Oriol Martinez has, you just never know. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 48 hours. Firstly, we do have a big official update that UEFA have fined Barcelona. Now, this has nothing to do with the Lenglet case, but Barcelona was imposed a fine of 500,000 euros for wrongfully reporting in the financial year of 2020 profits of disposal of intangible assets, other players' transfers, which are not a relevant income under the regulations. A lot of clubs have been fined. I think Manchester United were fined 300,000 euros as well. But Mundo Deportivo are reporting that Barcelona presented a plea to UEFA's appeals court committee that will go to the CAS if necessary for the 500 fine imposed by UEFA. Barcelona considered the fine disproportionate and argued that La Liga had accepted the profits, which UEFA didn't. Again, the fine is very minimum. When you're coming to a point when you're struggling for money, the club will probably appeal this most likely. But there is some good money coming into Barcelona, which can definitely pay off this 500,000 euro fine, and that is the money from the World Cup. Bild in Germany are reporting that Barcelona have received 4.08 million euros from FIFA for the participation of their players in the World Cup last year. It is the second highest of any club. Only Manchester City earned more with 4.13 million, so only a couple 100,000. And FIFA have paid a total of 187.9 million euros to all the clubs. So Barcelona earned the second most from the World Cup. We already reported on this a few months ago, but you have now officially received that money. So again, 4 million there. You can spend 500,000 on the UEFA ban if, of course, the appeal is now overturned, so good money coming in there to pay off these niggling, fees and stuff. Of course, we have the Neto fee that we have to pay 4 million to Valencia, so that can pay for it fully, and then you have that other 800k, send that to UEFA for the fine. So bish bash ball, bada bing, bada boom, we have stuff there. But the main thing is that Barcelona have been fined by UEFA for breach of their FFP rules, which Barcelona will appeal. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is about Xavi's tactics and formation for next season that have been leaked from La Vanguardia. They have come out saying that Xavi Hernandez wants a more offensive setup this season, and it's possible that we might see a 3-4-3 system in play on various occasions. He's planning on playing some games with only 3 strong and fast defenders. In addition, he has asked for an additional midfielder apart from Oriol Romeu, with Celso being one of those players on that list. As you can see from the right hand side, 3-4-3, that means we will sacrifice a forward, so you'll only have Lewandowski and Dembele as your natural forwards. You'll have Balde on the left hand side. You'll have a kind of a midfield diamond in the middle of the pivot, probably Oriol Romeu, Frankie on the left, Pedri on the right, and then of course Gundogan in the middle as that creative offensive midfielder. Again, could have a Celso there, Bernardo, Silva, Thiago, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to the defense, you will see 3 center backs: Inigo Martinez, Christensen, and Araujo, and of course you could even push Christensen to the left hand side, Araujo in the middle, with Koundé being on the right. That'll probably be the starting back 3 with Inigo Martinez and Eric Garcia as alternatives. Now, Fran Martinez Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Jules Koundé has told Xavi that he has no problem with playing in any position next season. Xavi told him that the 3-4-3 formation will be used more often next season, and that he'll therefore play mainly as a center back, and Koundé accepts this role. So again, we saw clips of Koundé training as a right back. He's practicing his crosses, practicing running down the right hand side, but we could end up seeing him play as a right center back in a back 3. This will be very, very interesting. I think suffering a forward is a huge risk by Xavi as well. You're investing a lot in the forward department. You have the forwards on the table. Victor Roque is coming in January. You have Ferran, Ansu, Dembele, Rafinha, and Abde. You're only playing 2 forwards. For me, does not really make sense. You're going to go with 4 midfield. I think this tactic can maybe work in some of the big games, but I think week in, week out, playing this formation against Mallorca, Girona, Granada, Las Palmas at home, it will not work because they're going to sit with a low block. You want to really offensive. So maybe in the big games in La Liga, Champions League, you'll play this formation. That's perfectly fine. But I think in those lower mid-table opposition games in La Liga, especially the first couple of rounds of the Copa del Rey, it's probably best not to do so. But this to me looks like a strong formation from Xavi. He wants to change things up, be more dynamic, more flow-flowing, have more numbers in the midfield to control the passing possession. Of course, also when you lose the ball, the intensity and the pressure will be there. So we'll wait and see. Again, preseason will be big. First game, of course, will be a week today against Juventus in America, and we'll wait and see what kind of lineup and formation that Xavi will deploy that will give us big hints for the upcoming season. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing I want first, of course, is your thoughts on the Oriol Romeu operation being completed, what your thoughts on the transfer itself, and also the conditions of the deal. Secondly, your thoughts on the situation at right back. What would you personally do? Give Des a chance? Would you loan Julian Araujo immediately out? If you decide someone, who would it be? Fresneda, Maffeo, Cancelo loan. Thirdly, your thoughts on, of course, the creative midfield option. Who would you go for? Would you go for Bernardo Silva? Would you risk it with Thiago's physical condition? Go all in for Lo Celso? And find your thoughts on the sales that Barcelona needed. Also, your thoughts on the future of some of the players as well, like Nico, Julian Araujo, and of course Lenglet and Franck Kessie. And also, of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.